Hi, welcome to Fons and Porter's Essex Block of the Month featuring Quilting Treasures Fabrics. This is episode 2. I'm your host, Jenny K. Parks. If you want to know more about me, you can check out my website, jennykquilts.com. Today we're going to talk about the triangle square block and the sawtooth block. So I've got some tricks for you. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to make a triangle square block. And here are my two pieces that we're going to do. And I'm going to go with this one here. Usually what I do when I'm making a triangle square is I take these absolutely handy, I mean I use these for a ton of stuff, but this is what their intended purpose. I take it's kind of the duct tape in my collection of notions here. I'll take this and I'll line it up and then I'll draw a line on either side, but you can see it's just a little shy. It won't quite work. It's not going to be as accurate as I want it to be. So what I did with this one is I lined up my big ruler. You're going from corner to corner. There we go. And I've lined it up on my 1/4 inch mark. So I have a 1/4 inch, I'm a 1/4 inch from the exact corner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line here. Now you can use whatever marking tool works best for you. Whatever it will show on the fabric, that's my thing. Because when I draw a line on there, I'm not messing around. I want to be able to see it. I want it to work. I don't want to have to rub back and forth to make it visible. All right, so then I rotated that, and now I'm going to line it up again on my 1/4 inch mark and draw another line. Now the reason we do this, what I'm doing is I'm creating a stitching line. These are both going to be my stitching lines. I could absolutely draw one line right through the middle and then line up my foot on there so that it will match on the middle drawn line. But I find that my accuracy is much better if I'm drawing a straight line and then I follow that straight line. That just works better for me. But you can try it, try it whatever ways. Try some one way and some the other way and see which is going to work best for you. All right, so I'm going to put my other fabric on top here, not on top, it's going to be underneath, right sides together. And now I'm going to stitch down both of those lines. Put that down. So when I'm doing this, I have to pay very close attention that I'm following exactly on that line, as close as possible. And you notice I didn't pin it. I'm just letting the machine move everything at the speed it sees fit. Okay. There we go. I know sometimes I can get anxious and I try to push something through the machine a little faster than it wants to go, and that's just a good way to make mistakes. All right, come around and get the other side. And in making this quilt, of course, you'd want to do several at a time. So I would sew all the one side and all one side, then clip them apart, and then sew them all again. Chain piecing, just like we talked about in the first lesson. I'm also, as I'm doing this, I have trained myself to watch a little bit ahead of where the needle is, a little bit ahead of where that stitching action is happening. If I do that, then I can correct for mistakes. I can fix stuff before I have to rip it out with the seam ripper. Lovely. All right. I'm going to take my big ruler again, and I'm going to line it up corner to corner. If I've done my job well, my 1/4 inch mark should exactly cover my stitching line. And it looks like I did pretty good. All right. And now we're going to cut them apart. All right, so I'm going to press this And I'm, oh wait, I want to press to the dark. And I think that's just the standard through all of this. We want to press to the dark. There we go. Beautiful. And I just clip away these little dog ears. And that is all ready to go. All right. Okay, now the next thing that I'm going to show you is how to make quick flying geese. We're going to be making a lot of geese in this one, so let me show you a really quick way. Now, I have to confess something. Before I started filming videos, I had not made one single flying goose. In all of the quilting that I'd done in the years that I've been quilting, not one, zip, zilch, nada. Because part of it was there were so many different rulers and so many different ways to do it that I was a little bit intimidated and not sure that I wanted to do that. But now, I'm telling you, I can make them in my sleep. In fact, I think I did make them in my sleep last night, I think. All right, so what you're going to do these quick flying geese is I have my goose, and these are my sky blocks. And now I'm going to take the other size of my Notion duct tape here, and I'm going to lay that so that the center mark is going right from point to point. And then I'm going to take a pin, and I'm using a red pin for this one, red ink pen. Yes, I will do that. You're going to get either side, go carefully, as you want to be as accurate as you can. All right, so I've done that on all 4 of these blocks already. So I'm going to put 2 on here, like so. This is going to be a pretty good trick, and it looks really clever. If you've never seen it before, I was surprised. I was surprised that it actually worked. You know, you see people come up with those things, you think, I don't know where to even start to think about those things. But this is one of those kinds of things. It's really clever. Now, I'm just using a regular foot to stitch this part because I think the flange would interfere and pull on the fabric a little bit, and I don't want that to happen. Line up there. And you can feel free if you want to pin this other block into place, just for placement. While you're sewing this, you can go right ahead. Feel free. I say pin to your level of comfort. If you're worried about it and you're afraid it's slipping, pin it. And I'll come around to the other side. Oh, scoot that over just a little bit. There we go. Not sure I started quite right on the beginning, but that's all right. We'll be fine here. And again, I'm watching ahead. I'm trying to be really careful. Try to follow that line as close as I possibly can. Okay. We'll see how I did. Get my little ruler here. So I lined this up with the edge from corner to corner, and if I did well, it looks like I got myself off a little bit. Let me cut a little bit better from this side. I'm still going to cut right down the center, but it looks like my 1/4 inch mark is off. My stitching line is off just a little bit, but we'll be all right. We'll be all right. That's one of the things to watch out for, to be aware of, because that can make your geese to be slightly different sizes. And as we go through this, I'm going to talk about lots of different ways to kind of troubleshoot, where you look at it underneath, you say, okay, what did I do wrong? Because I'm not a super big fan of going back and ripping everything out, but I am a fan of looking at it and figuring out what mistake did I make. What can I try to make it a little better in the next time? There's that one. Get this guy here. And again, I'm continuing to set the seam because I think it makes the fabric a little more easily persuaded to what I wanted to do. Okay. Now clip those dog ears. And now we do the next two. And this is actually going to give you 4. I'm telling you. I know it doesn't look like it yet, but it will. I have that one there. Get this one ready to go. Lovely. Okay. All right, so we'll see how I did. We'll see if I ended up stitching those a little bit too wide. Then they might look just a little bit differently than they should. So to chain piece, I'll just bring the next one in here. Lift up the foot a little bit. I can slide it under. There we go. And believe me, chain piecing can save a ton of time. Just clip those apart and go in the other direction. There we go. All right, almost there. I'm going to cut them apart. Let's see if I did a better job getting close to it this time. My goodness. Yeah, it looks, oh, that's pretty close. That's much better, much better. I'm all about moving forward, doing it better the next time. Although I did have to use the seam ripper quite a bit. I think the mistakes you make on a given project are equal to in proportion to the desperation that you want to finish that particular project. All right. We'll do all 4 of these. Last one. And again, I'm setting every one because with the trial and error, doing the same thing that I recommend to you. Trial and error, what mistakes did I make and how can I fix it? If I set it, I got better results. All right, now I'm going to clip. And I want you to see here too, look at that. It doesn't meet exactly. I'm just a little bit off. And that may be because that first seam that I did, it wasn't right on. This, bullseye. I love that. Yep, and the other 3 are good. Yeah, if I make a mistake, it's on just one, and I don't know how that happens. All right, I'll make sure they're all clipped and ready to put together. Lovely. So what you can do if you do have an errant flying goose block that just is not quite working, what I do, I check it to see if it's past the 1/4 inch. So I'll look at it here and I'll line it up. It's kind of hard to see with the lines on my ruler, but let me press that just one more time. Okay. I'm going to check the line on my ruler, line it up with the 1/4 inch mark, see if it's pretty straight down here, because if this is over a 1/4 inch, I can trim that little bit off and it won't throw me when I'm putting everything together. So let me just do that. Just trim that little bit off. Voila, now you never know. You never would have known it. All right, so there's the center of our sawtooth star block. Oops, oh wait, I'm doing it the wrong way. So You guys think this is funny. When I was putting this together, I did make a mistake and I put two of these going in the wrong direction, right? And I posted online, and one of the people commented, "Oh, you made a new block." So, no, I don't think so. I think people have been making this block for a long time when they actually meant to make this block. All right. So to put this all together, you're going to line them up. Now, here's another little troubleshooting tip for you. If you find that you line it up and one side is just a little too short, or it just seems like it's not going to go all the way across, split the difference. So what I mean by that is center it so that your point is centered. Your point is right where you want it to be. This one looks like I'm in good shape. I'm going to switch feet though, and I'm going to put in a 1/4 inch foot because I think that little flange hanging down there is going to help. So let me put this together and press so you can see it all. All right, so important tip here when we're sewing over points. Where it makes that X, that's where you want to stitch right over that X. X marks the spot. So even if my seam allowance might get a little wonky, or I have to pull to adjust for it, if I get over that X, I nailed it. So we're just going to go, my foot's wrinkling stuff. There we go. I'm just going to go right over the top of that X, and you'll see what I mean. Yeah, it took me a long time to figure out where exactly do I need to stitch to keep the points, right? Because the point is the point, and if it's not there, it doesn't quite work. So when I'm doing this at home, I'll turn this one around. Actually, I'll do all on one side. I'll just go one after another. But if I'm just doing one block, I'll turn it around, and I'll lay the next one on there and line it up and get all ready to go before I get up to press. Because these two, when I put them on together, they're not going to interfere with each other. You know what I mean? They're not overlapping. If they were overlapping, because I'm doing opposite sides, if they were overlapping though, I wouldn't. I would press one at a time, because that pressing makes a big difference. Okay, so I'm eyeballing this, I'm watching as I'm going forward, I'm making sure that that X is going to be exactly where I want it to be. We'll see how good I did, huh? Okay. All right. Let's compress it and see how I did. Again, setting that seam. I kind of got it pretty good, maybe just a skosh off. But the other one, the other one looks great. Okay, and so sometimes what I'll do with this block especially, depending on which direction you need to press it, and this one I happen to be pressing out, depending on which direction you need to press it, I might flip it over and press it again like this. All right, so we have a couple, 4 more pieces to add in here to complete our star. Oh. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start with this one here, and then I'm going to chain piece to add this one in here as well. If your machine has a little trouble starting on that first part, you know, because we have a little fold there, then turn it around and go from the other direction. I know some machines are inclined to eat little corners like that. And see, this one is coming from a different direction, So that's not going to give me any problems. Cut those apart. Just the thread, don't cut the patches. And then we're going to put the other ones on. And this is another one of those where I wait to press. I'll do both of these and then press. But if you are having trouble with your accuracy when you're pressing, maybe just try one at a time until you get it where you like that spot. You get it where it's working for you. A lot of quilting, while there's science to it and basic rules, kind of, basic ways that stuff works, a lot of it is trial and error, especially with pressing. How firmly do you press? Do you push too much? Are you using steam when maybe you should not be using steam? All of those are things to consider. And with this one, you'll have time, take that time to do trial and error stuff. Cut those apart, and now I'm going to press. And because I pressed this going out, I'm going to press these so it goes in. But I always say, if you have a pattern and it's telling you the specific directions, like be sure to press everything in this way or the other way, follow those. There's some secret that they know that you don't know, and it's going to be helpful to find that out. So that way, that's going to fit on there.